moment. We can't divide them. This means for us consequent process. A process that wants to constitute a new form of democracy starting from the clashes, from the struggles, from the sites, from the things that we do, or we try to do every day. So, we hope that Agorà can be a tool because there is no possibility for a consequent process of reform of democracy on a national level. We agree on this, and we hope that Agorà can be a tool, one of the tools that we need to start a consequent national process from the local struggles that are widespread all over Europe and not just in Europe. As I told you, Europe is the first minimum phase, the first step.
I'm John Zimmer from Occupy in London. I'd like to thank the host for organising this event, putting it on, Agorà. I'd like just to make a few observations from someone who's been involved in activism for over a decade. People talk about the contradiction between the local and the national and global struggles of the movement. Because resistance to neoliberalism and austerity is not an abstraction but is rooted in concrete realities in specific contexts in different countries. I could name dozens of examples, for instance the protests in the UK against extreme energy like hydraulic fracturing, or the protest in Italy against the construction of the high-speed train in the northwest of Italy. These are all specific examples. 10 years ago, in 2001, I was in Genoa. We had a different problem there. We had the so-called ultra-globalist movement, which was constituted at an international level, but it collapsed for the reason that it did not have local centers of resistance which could sustain it. I think we're in a much better position because we are based and rooted in local struggles, nationally and locally, and this is a better basis for which to build, to start a process for which a constituent power can arise. I agree with the comment who says yes, the resistance takes many different forms and has many different phases, and I think we need to first politically recognize the fact that our form of resistance isn't the only form. There are many different forms of resistance taking place, and we need to connect them, of course, nationally, but also at the global level. So I think, maybe the
where, for example, where we participated in those theaters, helped manage Occupy Theater in the city, in the center of Athens. Right now they're trying to sell the building to the state, trying to sell this building, not only a historical monument, but also a conserved building. So we're also talking about the fact that there's European debt, which is taking on a plan to be settled through the selling of culture, through the selling of education, through things that are part of our rights as citizens. And so what we'd like to discuss in the workshop that we've organized also for tomorrow, called Athens in Our Cities, is how we can talk about how culture can create a new space for us to explore these issues and bring people together from different spaces, as many people have talked about here, and how this can create kind of new models. 3 days ago, we wanted to give you an update also from Agorà Theatre. 2 of the young actors were also arrested by the police and taken directly to the police department where they were tried with the flagrant process the next day. And so now right now we're having different kinds of solidarity actions, 3-day festival where we're bringing people from the city to come occupy the theatre even on a larger scale to support the young actors. And we wanted to invite all of you to this discussion on how we...
Maybe the people think that the rule of the EZB isn't that big because they are very smart and putting to the media that actually they are just giving advice. They don't do anything bad. But we have to know that anything what's running in Europe is made by money. And the money in Europe is made by EZB, and that's why EZB is our main target. And we have to try and we have to find ways that we will not allow anymore the people who make political decisions inside Europe, of that they put in their kind of view to the media without we dismantle that. Because also if I listen in many critical political surroundings, I listen about debt, yes, debt in Greece, debt in Italy, in Spain, debt I don't know wherever else. But the fact is, the EZB and the Troika, they give a damn shit about if Greece has debt. No. The real interesting is the owner of the debt. This means maybe German bank, maybe Allianz, maybe Hedgefonds, maybe someone else. That these people getting their money, that's the issue for them. And not what the debt in Greece or whether they can say anyone or type of woman or things like that. And I will not make it too long. I could have another 30 minutes and still bring every time new things up. But I leave it for now. Take the flyer, come to Occupy, join our action. Thanks.
Okay, I'm Matthias from Sweden. I'm active in a network called Using for Everybody, and work to protect the commons. And I would like to continue a little bit on what our person from talked about. Because Europe as a common space will change a lot next year, and I think we must think about it when we speak about what our space is to work on. Because with the next European elections, according to the polls, we will see that the national parties and the extreme right parties will probably be the biggest bloc in the European Union, the European Parliament. But they are growing so fast now in all different countries. And the discussion has been that we will now have the two Europes, the Europe of privatization, crisis politics and austerity, but are afraid of being blocked by this nationalist bloc inside the